Rashmi ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Welcome,
ma'am.
everyone. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
welcome. Ma'am, when you are ready, let me know, then I'll play the video.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Just a minute. Rashmi ma'am, am I audible? Good evening to all. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, we can, yeah, ma'am, we can hear you.
Right, thank you. Hello, Sapna ji. How are you? Okay.
Ma'am, shall I play the video?
I think please start playing the video, sir.
Yeah. Can we start? If both of you are okay, then I can play video.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Savita जरा
Okay, give me 1 minute.
थोड़ा
Give
देखा
me
ना,
1 minute.
थोड़ा देख बाल ठीक कर बेटे. ऐसे कर सामने को ठीक कर दे, तू ठीक कर दे. Yes. कैमरे में देखो. देखो. हाँ, मैं इसको तो देखती हूँ कैमरे. कौन कर जाते हैं?
Rashmi ma'am, you can start.
Okay, sir. Another beautiful evening. Good evening to everyone. The educationist from the globe. And again, it is my proud privilege today to address all of you and talk about Dr. Sapna Agrawal. She is a very well known face on the sky of education for the whole world, globally, I should say that. And Mr. Kamal Goda, Janak Kamal Goda, he's from the Association of Sri Lankan Association for Education for the World, I will say. He has invited Dr. Sapna and then DKIF President, Mr. Sudhakar, has also he has welcomed her here because he knows that she is going to give us a wonderful insight into a particular topic, which is a great topic for today after pandemic, after the transformations in the education, because the scenario has changed. Just a minute. Excuse.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Rashmi ma'am, Dr. Rashmi ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, we can hear. Yeah.
The small child has come. I think the child thought that when we are talking of the toys, then why I should not be there. So she's my granddaughter. She entered. Anyway, so this is what I'm telling. The transformations have taken place. So Dr. Sapna Agrawal, I mean, talking about her, I feel privileged because she has done so much for the education. She has got masters in chemistry and in education. She's from army background. Therefore, I respect her more because her husband, he has given his services to the armed forces in India. And after that, they never stopped serving the country through different, windows like education and for the women and for so many other associations they have given their services. And today she is going to talk about the toy based pedagogy, happy classrooms, and to make the students feel that the studies are not all that difficult. They can be learned through some interesting methods. And when we teach it with the interesting methods, then we understand more. So there is such a work she has done. Like she has got publications in the journals, and she has contributed to the training sessions. And if I'm not wrong, there are 10,000 subscription in her YouTube channel.
Ma'am,
And
40,000.
40,000, I'm sorry. When I had seen they were only 10,000, and the teachers are really learning a lot from what she's presenting on the YouTube. And she was speaker at AWWA Literature Festival 2023, speaker at prestigious DSSC College Wellington, then presented a paper for Indian women and for National Colloquium sponsored by NHRC New Delhi. And she's contributing to the skill education, and so on, so forth. And she has presented in IIT Delhi also. And equally, I want to salute her husband. He's from the armed forces, that he has, contributed so much for, the safety of a country. So here I will request Sapna ma'am to start a wonderful session on toy-based pedagogy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rashmi Tyagi, ma'am. Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, whenever you speak, it's like a lot of learning from each one of you. Dr. Sudhakar, sir, this DKIM, where I'm privileged to be associated right from the beginning, but today I get to speak, and the panel has deemed me fit that I should be able to speak in this international association. And right, so yeah, International Association for Quality Education. So I would be requesting, because when I share the screen, uh, yesterday it happened in one webinar in the Zoom session. I was sharing my, I had gone on mute. So that is why I just requested, in case it happens, please let me know, and then I'll unmute myself and try to share in a different way altogether. So I mean, we just do not know. Sometimes the technology takes its own course. So I'm sure everybody is able to see, and please let me know if I'm audible also.
Yeah, ma'am, we can see and we can hear you.
Thank you, sir. And when I share the screen, sir, I shift the PPT. Is it also going ahead?
Yeah, ma'am, and you are the co-host. You can manage everything.
Right. Oh, then it's great. Right. So today, let's begin the session. And in this session, I will be talking about history of the toy industry in India. And of course, when we talk about India, automatically the other countries will also be mentioned. At a point of time when I talk about the history, of course, Sri Lanka would be part of it. And how it is, you're going to see in the session itself. We talk about how during the COVID, Indian industry grew at least 6 times more, and how much import we have stopped, who are the major stakeholders, how the toy artisans are going to get benefited in India, and of course, in the neighboring countries. There is a lot of opportunities for each one of us present here to get into, in case you plan to enter into as an investor or a business or something, how we can enter. So let me see how much I can conclude in today's session, because it's going to be, the moment this topic came to me, I was I felt so happy that let me start talking about it. So let me just immediately enter into it and say, so the history of toys goes back as Harappan civilization. Right, so that is 5000 BC, and ever since the toys have existed in India. And if you see the Indus Valley civilization, we say we have seen a lot of clay toys, like you've seen monkeys and bullocks in the history books. Correct. So the toy pedagogy is not new at all. Now, a couple of slides I'll be just quickly surpassing. I'll be just talking, but I've kept it over here in case anybody later on also on YouTube wants to make some reference to it. So that is why I've kept it. Right. So why we always talk about toy pedagogy is like a lot of concepts and skills are cleared when the children are actually engaged. You know, Rashmi ma'am was just mentioning there's a small little granddaughter or a grandchild who's doing it. So imagine you recall those days when you were asked to create a paper boat or a paper cap, right? And then, you know, some children we might ask that, okay, walk with this paper boat or paper cap. And imagine that kind of comparison going in your mind, how much concentration you were trying to put on that straight line when you were trying to walk. So it is that these kind of dialogues, these kind of things, when brought to the child, they help imagine the child a lot of and clarify a lot of concepts. Similarly, it's not only just abstract concepts with the toys. There are a lot of scientific concepts like classification, comparison, even social ethics. And when they are playing with their peers, but when they are creating the toys themselves, a lot of paper toys, a lot of wooden toys. Some of you may have seen children playing with these toys where they make aeroplanes and they fly. So it's made out of willow wood, right? So when the child is actually engaged in doing such kind of things, there is a lot of scientific concepts also which are getting clear in the minds. Well, there was a study which was conducted to gauge the impact of toys and that was in Children's University in 2018. And these are the couple of things in the next slide. What I show you that what was the observation. So there's so many points. I request each one of you to keep reading. Wherever you need screenshots, you can. They are facts. They are not a single word today in the presentation has been even created by me. They are facts. They are evidences behind everything which is mentioned over here. So when we talk about toy pedagogy, there are few points mentioned over here. There are many more, but I have encapsulated a few points. So that is the attendance. The children start coming more regularly to school. It was observed in economically weaker sections where the children are, for some reason, they were not coming, but whenever there was a toy pedagogy introduced, they started coming. They started liking academic subjects when manipulatives were used to teach. Right. They started becoming more organized. They felt that if a toy can do, why cannot I? They started caring because when they start taking care of a toy and respecting a toy, they're not just beating the toy, they're not just hurting the toy. So they start taking care of themselves because a toy is a lifeless thing. But we have lives within each other. They start caring and respecting more for humans and even for their pets. They understand the importance of hygiene. So there are a lot of videos and small reels you get to see that when a parent is washing a toy in the washing machine, they feel that the toy is being crushed and crumpled. But we can, even when we tell them that there's a life, the toy doesn't have a life, and it's very important to clean because we wash the other clothes, we wash the other things. So the child also starts feeling that okay, that my toy is getting washed, then I also. This practice lot of even in lot of African countries, South African countries, this practice in rural areas, this practice in India and neighboring countries has actually helped the children understand the importance of hygiene, right? And even washing, importance of washing hand. A lot of things have been taught with this. Children, they start making a lot of better decisions. They have a lot better problem solving. There's a lot of sportsmanship and patience. They accept defeat and even failure. There's a lot of logical thinking. They start accepting and facing challenges. So that is how, and of course, the manual dexterity. So that happens when they are playing with toys. So toy is not only a mere piece of something which a child will be just wasting time on. So there are a lot of evidences and there are a lot of scientific studies where there are solitary play, when there is when I talk about play, when there are I've stopped sharing and I'll share again. I just wanted to talk face to face over here for a while. So there are a lot of evidences which keep telling that when a child is given any manipulative, any objects, anything, and in case it is a directional play, it is a free play, it is a solitary play, it is a group play. There are different outcomes which are observed, and the child has produced fantastic results. Right. So I'm sure when I'm talking about this, some of you may be going back in your old days when you said that, yes, it mattered a lot. Now, I'm sure each one of us sitting over here had heard about something called chess. Well, I have a very beautiful story which I have been narrating, and I was just trying to control something over here, but then it's okay, it'll take time. So, the chess was invented in India and it was known as Ashtapada. So, today in the session, I am going to bring a lot of Indian names for a lot of toys, and even as I mentioned, the Sri Lankan toys at one point of time. And a few years later, this game was called as Chaturanga, quadripartite. And in 600 CE, this game was learned by Persians and was named as Shatranj. Right. So it has not come. It has not come anywhere from Mughals. So anybody who thought like that, please make a correction because there is a movie, very old Indian movie called Shatranj, and a lot of people they got confused with this. When I talk about the Ashtapada, the 64 squares, since recently I've launched my financial literacy books, and it's a real story. Once upon a time, एक बार की पुरानी बात है. Once upon a time, when a person who was working for the king worked very hard and was able to achieve the task which the king wanted. So the king was very happy, and the king said that, okay, you can ask me anything. So that person said that, King, I'll be coming to the court day after as you have called me. All I want is a chessboard, ashtapada, and 2 grains of rice. And in front of all the courtiers, I will just make a small request. And King was so happy. He said, okay, come over. So now this man reaches to the court and asks the king that, sir, uh, Please pardon me if I say anything wrong, but I want something very simple, that as these two pieces of rice grains move from one square to the other, just let them double. So that is the power of compounding. So the two grains became four, four became eight, eight became 16, and then 32, and then 64. And by the time it reached to the 64th square, you can make a square of these two grains. The grains, the rice grain asked by this person, the king, I mean, it is quote unquote, the king said that this amount of rice I will not have in my kingdom. That is like the entire map of India would be covered by 1 inch of rice. So I give the task to each one of you. You can make a square and try to multiply and see that how much rice that person had claimed. That is power of chess. Now, carom has also its origin in Indian subcontinent. Now, this is a board game, and it is played throughout South Asia, and even in Sri Lanka, as I mentioned, it's very popular over there. That is about carom. Then snakes and ladder, it is known as moksha patam. Right. So it was very popular amongst children and adults, and a lot of people. So this was known as a game of vice and virtues to teach good values to children. Right. So moksha patam, you can remember, for snakes and ladders. Then playing cards. When in ancient India, it was known as krida patram, right? And it was made of cloth pieces, and there are a lot of ancient designs from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, and it had a lot of outcomes, different kind of outcomes. So whenever we used to play games, it was not only for, again, for entertainment, there was always some learning outcome. A lot of tarot cards, later on tarot cards, people. So krida patram, so they were used in different forms. The gambling came very, very late, and gambling was started somewhere in the South Asian countries. So gambling via the cards was not started in India. Okay. Now, ancient polo, it started from Central Asia, and in Manipur, India was the first. In India, Manipur was the first place for the foundation of modern polo. Can you believe modern polo, which is more played in Rajasthan? In Jaipur, we have a complete Bhavani Singh Ji, Maharaj Bhavani Singh Ji used to play polo. But imagine that the foundation was started in Manipur. So then Kho, it was known as game of chase, which was started in Maharashtra, and the ladies used to play at home. And in Maharashtra, in tradition of Maharashtra, there are a lot of Indian games which are played back at home, and they keep the ladies very agile. So there was a lot of fitness related with the games when played like this, right? And then again, Kho was one of the very popular traditional Indian sports, and we also had a Kho Federation of India, and the first championship was organized as way back in 1959. So you get a lot of information with toy pedagogy and why we are teaching it over here. Now, in 1982, Indian Olympic Association, Kabaddi, which was an old sport which was 4,000 years ago, it was played. It started from Tamil Nadu, and you see that different sports have their origin from different villages and different states in India. And we had almost forgotten their original names. So it was the defense tactics and group hunting. So kabaddi was not always played as kabaddi. It was, now remember, it was like guerrilla warfare. In Shivaji, in Maharashtra, when the guerrilla warfare was taught, the guerrilla warfare was taught as defense tactics. So guerrilla warfare had a lot of, because I'll not be covering all the things. I have huge. I can speak for at least 3 days on toy-based pedagogy, right? So I'm just trying to make some references over here. Indigenous toys, and when I talk about indigenous toys, a lot of countries have their own indigenous toys, but today I talk about India, and they have a lot of cultural understanding and cultural expression. And these games and toys have transformed and evolved over the centuries, right? And everything over here about the traditional Indian toys, they were linked to the objects, and that is why rasoi means kitchen, right? So they are a lot of day-to-day life. So kitchen was not never a game of girls. Kitchen was a game, where the objects were the farmers harvest the grains and then they bring it home. Everybody used to clean it together, and then the lady cooks and everybody eats together. That is how the kitchen was introduced. Let me introduce over here uh, kites. So on Sankranti and Basant Panchami, on Independence Day also, kites are flown. I mean, people fly kites. And then there are in India on Dasera, right? Sometimes in various places, I'll be mentioning in South India also, they do Bommu Kolam. Bommu Kolam is also another name where they actually display a lot of toys. This game is also practiced in Sri Lanka at various places, right? Okay. So now the Kandai Jatra, yeah, toy fair, that comes from Orissa. Right. So this was one of the oldest festival for the Jagannath temple. Now you'll be surprised that oh, the toys have okay. In North Indian weddings, the mandap, the wedding where it is decorated with small wooden. Right. Even in Mysore, if you see, Mysore has small wooden toys. That those toys where the neck moves like this. That is the origin of all those things. I do have some Mysore toys with me. Let me just give me a second. I'll be showing you on the screen also. I'm carrying some Mysore toys with me over here. So these are those handmade toys where they origin. Right. So these are those toys where we had purchased them for our children. So you can see they are old toys, broken now, but then, yes, I have kept it because they are very precious. They bring a lot of Indian tradition to us. So they come from Mysore. They are handmade toys. Okay. Then we have toys and games coming to. I mean, we talk about it and we imbibe it as Bharatiya Sanskriti. So toys are part of a culture, right? And that is why now we talk it as toy-based pedagogy or play-based learning. So after having told the history of toys in India, so telling everybody that we had forgotten and we thought it is a European or a Western country. It is from South Asia. It's not only India, I refer to South Asia. Right. So that is why, okay, here let us move to toy based learning. So, toy based learning means where the children are not in a static mode where they are just sitting. So, there's a lot of movement. So, when the movement is happening, the learning happens. So, normally, when we talk about the early foundational years, we say that movement, drama, puppets, street games, board games, puzzles, electronic games, right? They all come under toy based pedagogy, right? And we can bring in, if you remember later on in today's session only, I'll be trying to bring in guitar, you remember lattu, everything. So how they what kind of scientific facts do we study from them? Of course, after NEP, there is a new revolution of local se vocal. So India said, let us become a global hub. And of course, toy is going to be one of the major industry before from 2025 till 2030. So the process has already begun. COVID, when the entire world was locked, how the journey of toys happened in India, just after a few slides I'm going to show. Right, so the Indian toy sector is booming. And you see the last slide. I don't read all the slides present over here. That is for all of us to read. So there are a lot of electronic toys, puzzles, building toys, ride-ons, sports, huge, immense. There are multinationals who have already started investing in India. One of the name to be taken is Decathlon. Okay. Now let me take that in case before COVID, before COVID, when the toy industry was bought, the local to vocal was bought in India. Had anybody amongst us walked into a toy store, 80% chances were there that we are going to have a made in China product. Right. This is not reduced to, I mean, we have not reduced it to zero. And Indian market was totally flooded by imported toys. 8 out of 10 toys, were from China and the rest from the other places. When India was such a rich heritage and we manufactured to toy was only less than 20%. I mentioned here. So the domestic market was being reduced. Now here from 2014 to 15, Indian market has the import of toys, right here. If you see at rupees 328 crores and rupees 1,936 crore, the import of times was 6 times more. And from 2014-15, the import has started reducing. Right. So when we talk about toy-based pedagogy, let me also inform you, NEP at all points of time is connecting the foundational studies, the middle preparatory studies to vocational skills and vocational education, and later on to the entrepreneurial mindset. So the toy-based pedagogy is not limited only to teaching in foundational years. It's a complete vocational skill where the people can actually take it further ahead, even for their businesses and other things. And that is what I'm trying to bring in over here, right? So this is the same thing. Let me move ahead. So that lot of Indian lot, so many 40% of Indian toy manufacturing units had closed before that, and now from in the COVID year, right, from 2018-19, the import of toys started reducing in India, and Indian toy industry turned into a net foreign exchange earner. So we earned a lot in India because we had started supporting our toy artisans, right? So if you see, from $371 million, we had reduced import to only $110 million, and it is further reducing year on year. It is reducing. So that means our country is booming up, and we are exporting the toys. Correct. So if you see that, by April August 22, the export was 636% growth in it from India. That was amazing. So what changed over here was that, in 2020, when, because of the COVID, we were not, the government started intervening, and because of the virus and all those things, the industry was impacted, and that is the time we took the advantage and we started helping. So the if you see our industry, where those PIP things and all were also manufactured in India with very fast, lot of speed. And I also refer time and again South Asian countries. So that is why even Sri Lanka becomes part of it. So we have our artisans, we have a people who have that good, they want to make something good. So we just have to support. So Bureau of Indian Standards, in 2021, government issued that, the toys control or the quality control, it has to be passed through BIS, and this again supported. Again supported the artist. So, yes, sir.
Ma'am, excuse me, your slides are not moving. Can you
Oh
check?
God, I thought, okay. I don't know from when it is not moving. I'll once again reshare. From when is it not moving, sir? Doesn't matter, but I think I was just mentioning about the data, so I'll share it from here. I wish I have made so many datas. There's so much of hard work I've put, and I really wanted each one of you to see this. Right. Okay. Now India has started sending signals to the marketplaces of United Kingdom, Germany, Netherlands, and we say that now, we have reduced nearly 67% of Chinese toys, and with BIS coming in, there's further. Is it changing now, sir? I'm again changing it.
Now it is okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay, so now I've just skipped past one or two toys. Okay, now here, India's, now when we started protecting our own toy makers, so this was, people said it's a protectionist approach, but I think that was required, because unless the charity begins at home, so unless we protect our own people, our toys would, they'll go in vain. And why do we then, we'll only be talking about something which is coming from the European or the Western countries, and we start educating the children with those toys, right? So, because the doll concern, or only a Barbie doll, teaching with Barbie doll, was never an Indian idea. Correct. So now our domestic market, the size, let me tell you the domestic market size, and this is the study based on 22, right? So we are 2 years ahead. We have above 300 million children, the domestic market size, that these many toys the children. So we have a huge space for Atmanirbhar toy industry over here, right? And there are a lot of measures being taken. Now this is because we are in 2024, so I must tell you that we are about to grow in this. Whenever the statistics come, we have already entered in the month of April, so by next quarter we'll get the statistics also. So we have already got more than $100 million investment in this sector, 20,000 jobs, 8,000 indirect jobs which are already created now, because this slide was based on 22 research, and people with lot of vocational abilities. Now, do you see the impact of vocational skills? When we talk about financial literacy, when we talk about local for vocal, building hand, when we talk about tie and dye industry is again very good in even in Sri Lanka. When we talk about metallic toys, when we talk about wooden toys, That is the scope which NEP is providing, and that is the scope when we talk about even for artisans, those who do puppet shows, those who do storytelling, those who do Kathak, Manipuri dancing, Odissi, any kind of a thing. So they have a lot of scope over here. But there are certain challenges when I talk about good things also. As of now, we need people who can enter into the supply chain market and help the toy industry, because the toys are being created, but the supply chain still for this toy industry is required. The best part with the supply chain industry is that the shelf life of toys is always very long. It is not like the edible food product which is going to go away. Now, within India and the clusters, this cluster automatically supports our neighboring countries, and so there is a lot of production linked incentives. So even countries those who are surrounded by us, the SAARC nations also, where the people like Bangladesh, again it manufactures a lot of things from Sri Lanka, again the cloth industry also is very supportive to us. We have a lot of business. So even for toys, India says we have free trade agreements. So if people are manufacturing toys over there, and then later on in this presentation also, I'm going to show you the ministries also who are going to support. Okay. Now, we are reskilling 7 million artisans. Do you see the potential of people, those who get into this toy based pedagogy as teachers, as people, those who talk about puppets, people, those who talk about, the storytelling shows and all, body painted bagas. Baga means like share, if you do Orissa. There's so many places. I can speak so much. I'm just trying to control myself. So there'll be so many dividends coming to people, and the future seems to be very, very interesting. Okay, let me go a little ahead. And now this is about India's toy story. So mostly the toy manufacturers in India are located in NCR, that is near Delhi and around, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. When I talk about Delhi NCR, so the Haryana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh is also covered, but still we have lesser spaces over there. We want more people to come over there, right? And still we have small MSME sectors doing it, but still 90% more is still unorganized. So we have a lot of scope to do that. This I had already told about 2024. Now this is why should people start investing in India and in this market. So we are world's second largest producer of polyester, and that is the fiber which is used in making the plush toys. 8% global share for plush toys. Right. So the dresses which the Barbie dolls wears, the dresses which all these things. So imagine that is a scope. Domestic toy demand forecasted to grow at 10 to 15%. And as the toy-based pedagogy comes, it's going to go further. Indian market, because of foundational years learning, ECC and foundational years learning, we are ready with our foundational years curriculum. And when we blend it with the toys, Indian made toys, we are ready to give it to the other nations also. So there is again a huge potential to invest. The toy industry in India is going to grow by 2 to $3 billion by 2024. Right. So this is a screenshot taken from the government's website and pasted over here. I have not created it. Okay, these are the investors who have already invested in India. They are Hasbro, Mattel, Fun School, Aquis, and Microplastics Private Limited. Right. Okay. Now these are the places. If you see, I have highlighted over here where there are more toy makers.
Ma'am, can you go to that slide?
Pardon, sir.
The slide. Yeah.
I,
Slide.
I'll stop. I'll stop share and reshare again, sir. If it is not visible, I don't know. I know for yesterday. Okay, there's a comment. I will come in through the chat box a little later. I didn't notice this by chance. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is it. If you see, right. So we have a lot of space over here. This is how it is happening in India, right? In India nearby. So that is it. Okay, let me move ahead. These are Indian toy manufacturers. So maybe some of you have purchased these toys not from India, when they go abroad, and from there they are remarketed to India. So now India, because of again people interfering, these toys will stay in India and we'll pay them much lesser what we were paying. Yeah, some of the companies we've always felt they are foreign companies because the Products were being sent over there and then imported. So we wasted double, but now we are going to earn. We are going to export now because the acceptance of Indian toy was lesser. So that is how it was happening. So these are few names which are going to really surprise you. Right? In case you want a screenshot, all yours. Okay, I'm changing the slide. These are the Indian toy startups, right? Existing in India and already making a mark. These all can be searched. Krida, Ariro came on the Shark Tank also. Desi Toys, Cola, Towing, and Skillmatics. Okay, these are the ministries and government bodies affiliated with Indian Toys. Because toys will require textiles, science and technology. So when I talk about toys, please do not limit about those puppets and all. Even mobile, gadgets, even big people have their own toys, playstations, right? When we talk about toys, we also have this the vehicles industry where a lot of toys are used in the cars. So even the boys, the males, the ladies, so a lot of gadgets are being used. So when somebody is cooking, you require a lot of gadgets. So do not limit your thought process only to that kind of a toy, right? So that is why all these things also get encapsulated over here. So these are the associations related to the toy association, the export association, all these. And these are the government initiatives. The ecosystem in India, already we have started scaling. There are more startups required, both MSMEs and startup. So there is a PMP program in place. There are people, those who have started investing, right? And these are the category of Indian toys which you will see now, already existing, right? Okay. So they were already existing. Now let me talk about a few things. So when I talk about what happens with the toy, how NEP is going to impact these things, because after having talking this, and maybe after that immediately I'll start taking the questions even from the chat box. Now what happens is street games like Luka Chupi, Stapu, Stapu was that where you jump. Uh, so this refers to play. So there is a lot of fine motor skill and gross motor skill development over here, right? So that is why I want to make this point over here. Lot of I had given a lot of points, that what are the benefits which come out of the games, right? What are the benefits? Now suppose I say Rabindranath Tagore's, I'll mention a quote unquote of Rabindranath Tagore. So Rabindranath Tagore ji said that when I bring to you colored toys, I understand why there is such a play of colors on the clouds. The child starts thinking, right? On water and why flowers are painted in tints. When I give you colors toys to you, my child. So Rabindranath Tagore ji had also mentioned about, and he said that when people do role play, because drama, theater, all those things also, so children learn to express their emotions. When parents and teachers, many a times, they are pushing children to learn a little faster, the problem solving skills and the logical thinking skills, they help the child to engage through their own senses, and it stimulates them and makes them eager to continue exploring more about the world around them. So when I say these things, now I'm going to mention a few points. You can note it down. I've not put it on the slide. Right. Number one, toys spark creativity and imagination. Right. Toys help in multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary learning. Number three, toys strengthen, as I said, motor development, both fine motor and gross motor. Then, number four, toys help in social and emotional development. Right. And that is very important for a child. Number five, toys have a therapeutic effect on a child, because that's very important when a child is playing. There could be various situations. The child is able to Right.
Excuse
I
me,
can
Sapna
continue
ma'am.
about it a little more.
Sometimes we are not able to hear you. I think there is some trouble.
So, though I'm in a commercial network, I'll still try to be better like this. Okay.
Okay, fine, ma'am. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So now here, when we integrate toy-based pedagogy with the curriculum, what happens over here is this will be on the basis of child's own experience with the toys, the syllabi, the textbooks, the learning resources, and the pedagogy. That comes to the teachers, parents, and the caregivers. Right. So nothing is going to happen in isolation. Now, why I had talked about the global ecosystem, the global ecosystem is also going to help this child not only play with the toys. So toy is not something which is done only in the childhood. You know, toy is something, even a mouse is a toy, isn't it? I'm using it on my mobile. Even my gimbal is a toy from which I make my shots, isn't it? There are so many things which I'm doing. Even my speakers. So there are a lot of things which come under the category of toys as we grow. So there are a lot of things which are happening. Even a plastic scissors, even a comb. So the toy is not limited only to the toy per se. So we need to think critically. So when we are doing snakes and ladders, when we are doing all those things, yeah, it matters a lot. Okay, I can just drop a message that I'll call later. Okay, now here the toys I'm repeating help the children. Those who want to note, please note it down. It's okay. They help the children to help think critically, solve problems, develop creative and multidisciplinary abilities. The toys help the child to innovate. If you see Mr. Arvind Gupta ji, so he had created a lot of toys with match sticks, waste material. That's perfectly fine. I mean, toy does not always need to come from a fresh material. And that is why when Ravi sir had written about plastics, we are nowhere referring only to the plastic toys. We don't want to increase it on the earth. We are talking about clay toys. We are talking about wooden toys. We are talking about toys from the trash material. We are talking about toys which a child is going to make from things in and around, right? From all the existing courses. And that is how the thinking skills begin. Now, areas of critical thinking along with holistic development. So, what kind of thinking happens is toys help the child do a lot of inquiry based, discovery based, discussion based, analysis based learning. So, I've made 4 points over here. So, toys help in holistic development, but these are the inquiry, discovery, discussion, and analysis. So, with this, when I say that when the classroom sessions will be regularly conducted with a lot of fun, creativity, collaborativeness, and exploratory activities, I mention quote unquote NEP 2020 para 4.5. So you can go and refer, and my words quote unquote is over here, that the classroom will have more questions, the classrooms will have more regularity, and the classroom will have more ideas, applications, and problem solving. I'm open to questions now. Thank you. I can continue speaking, but I think I should be open to questions now.
Rash ma'am, you can unmute your mic.
Sir, I have done it, but it is not being shown here. Can you hear me, sir?
No, yes,
Yeah,
we
ma'am,
can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, but somehow the camera is not opening. Sir, please help me with the camera. Anyway, right now, if the camera is not opening,
Ma'am, you can start camera and audio and video both.
yes, I'm getting a message, sir. Start my video. The host has asked you to start your video. Okay, sir. Still, it is not happening. Doesn't matter, sir. So
Wait.
I was mesmerized. You can hear me. All of you can hear me. Okay, I'm audible. I was mesmerized because it was it was in great details that the toys we should not underestimate, that they are only for the childhood entertainment. No, we can learn a lot from these toys. And then after describing them, she has taken us to the classroom toys, that how these toys, they may be used in the classrooms. And then she's telling that whatever the AIs and all that, they are also toys. like toys, it is very easy for the students to understand if we compare difficult things into the simple one, like by toys. So it was really wonderful. Then she had also told us that throughout the world, how the different companies, they are busy in creating, inventing the toys for the study purpose. And it was wonderful. And now I want Sudhakar sir and Kamal Goda sir to just talk. And then also, if there are any questions from the audience, it is going to be very interesting and they may ask the questions. So that it is open, the session is open for all of you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Rashmi ma'am, you can switch on the camera.
Yes, sir. I was trying. I don't know what is happening. Actually, I also wanted to say through toys, something through toys. I will wait, sir. Till then, sir, you can start speaking.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks. It's very pleasure to hear the very wonderful session. I would like to invite the all participants to give your comments or to ask anything. We can open the discussion session. Yeah, from India or in Sri Lanka, or anyone can ask.
Camera करा था ना
Raise your hand, then we can unmute all of you. If you want to unmute, you can unmute. Now anyone can unmute.
See, when I talk about the toys, no, it's very important to also understand that we have furniture like toys. So for children in the classrooms, so you see the size of industry and even the right kind of furniture, the right kind of pedagogical methods with the children. The furniture is also a part of the ecosystem when we are teaching to the child. So all in all, it's toy-based pedagogy opens amazing doors and windows to the educators. So those of you who want to refer from NEP, kindly refer para 4.5. So you are going to get exactly what I mentioned over here, the similar things.
Sapna ma'am, I would like to ask a few questions on behalf of the audience out here.
Sir.
Uh, which kind of toys? Let us take example of play and nursery, right? Which toys do you recommend for the kids at that level, and why? And how it's going to, increase their creativity, their critical thinking, and the other abilities that need to be, inculcated at that stage of time.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this question. Okay, so now when we talk about the little learners, small little children, now sir has asked me a question which is again very important. Now we say that there has to be an analysis of toys while selecting them and for what reason. So number one, the availability, accessibility of a toy. So if you are taking some toy, it should not be something which is not accessible or available to a child and can be only shown in that tender age, because children want to touch and explore everything. Correct? So it has to be. Number two, which is very important, is the toy should have some academic value. Right? So what concepts are we going to teach with that particular toy or with that particular thing which we are going to, like, are we going to teach any life skill? Right, when the teacher or child is playing with it, what is going to happen, right? So that is very, very important. Next, it's very important for a child to see that suppose we are writing stories, we are writing something like a mother doll, a child doll, a papa doll, a baby doll. So if we are using that kind of a doll, right, so there, I mean, that journey. So when I talk about for foundational and preparatory years, even for higher grades, for middle and secondary, there'll be different kind of toys. But sir has asked me only for the smaller children. Now the material, in case the child has to make the toys should be cost. The making of the toys should be cost effective for a child, so no burden on the child. It is clearly mentioned from the NCRT handbook if you see. Then material has to be locally available. So you cannot say that some material from somewhere else, locally the material. Ideally, it should be from the uh, wasted or the leftover material. The material has to be non-hazardous. All these European companies, they kept saying non-toxic, non-toxic, non-toxic. They realize that the plastic they are using has those microfibers of plastic which is already going inside. So that was the most toxic thing they could have given to the children. When we are talking about children, the small classes, what kind of toys? Toys, how to make a kite, how to make airplane, how to make boat, how to make cap. All these toys help in a lot of mathematical concepts to understand in foundational age. They help in projectile motions. They help in developing of poetry, right? They help in a lot of sensitivity also. Another thing, when we talk about toys, the puppets. Rashmi ma'am, please, I request you to mute yourself.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So then there are a lot of puppets. So when the child, because puppets can be made with a simple way. I wish I could have done a session where I do on puppets is, it's just like a piece of I mean a hand and a piece of cloth. That's it. And we can create so many puppets out of it, maybe with a thread and a rubber band. Maybe sometime else I'll do that session for you. So we mix that theater and puppetry and art of theater or theater in education, right? Where we use cost effective toys or maybe cost less toys we make in front of the children and we use it. So the toy culture. Now, there is very important that these toys should be, there should be a flexibility for the teacher. Another thing is there has to be a skill based learning. So the children, they are not only learning from toys, but there is, you remember SUPW. So that is the craftsmanship, handling of tools, handling of toys, right from. Another thing, when the children are being taught with the toys, what kind of assessments are you going to do with the child? So that assessment is also very important. Like I give you, a toy car starts from one corner of the room, in 10 seconds travels 20 centimeter distance. Now, this is not for the foundational years, and reaches another corner of the room. What is the velocity? Do you think that same simple toy car, which was used by the child in foundational years, now in the secondary classes is helping a child do a question of physics? So that should be the connectivity of the toy-based pedagogy. So the toy is not mere a piece of toy to play and just forget it. So it is the same toy car which the child had used in the childhood. So we can help the child assess the velocity of it. How do you do the selection of toys? So number one, I'm just repeating a few things. It should be safe. It should be well constructed and age appropriate. It should be appealing and interesting. It should have some suitability for the physical capabilities of the child. They should not have shock or heat hazard, right? In case of electrical toys, one has to be very, very careful. No sharp or pointy edges at all, right? Then, in case of street or outdoor games when the child are playing, they have to be monitored by the teachers or parents, and that is very, very important, right? So, I hope I'm able to answer the questions which Sir had asked.
It was really, appropriate answer. And I got inspired, by your toy pedagogy. So I just want to, tell the audience that how we can use the toys for, explaining a great message. So that message I like to give. All of you can see what I am showing here, the babushka doll. Can you see it on the tray? On the tray?
Yes.
Okay. So, am I visible?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Shall I wait for?
आपके पीछे से टीवी की आवाज आ रही है.
It doesn't matter, we'll wait because it is a great message which we want to give.
So meanwhile, ma'am is showing. जब तक मैम कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं साउंड को, I had come with a lot of collection of toys today. See, these are those small little gemstones. So what I suggest is when a teacher is doing this, आप इसको sand की tray में छुपा दो and you can teach archaeology to the children. when they dig, and you tell them, and आप उनको पूरे soft toys, brush you can give, and when they dig these things, they are going to understand what is archaeology. They are going to identify some toys. These are some stones in different shape of gems. I gave it to my child, my children. My boys have grown up. My elder one is 27 years old, and the younger one is 22 years old. But these are their gemstones. वो मिट्टी में से dig करके they used to find these, and we had given them all spatula and everything. See, this is when the child can actually create jewelry for their parents or teachers. So these are some beads. This is a piggy bank, various toys I'm trying to show, if you see, right? This is an old piggy bank. These are all my children's toys. So this is like paise ki, these iske andar marbles aate hain, kanche, right? If you see, these are those shells. I had a lot of things. These are shells. ये toy से, jewelry. If you go to any place, people sell these things. I had already showed you these Mysore toys, the wooden toys, right? So all yours, ma'am. Thank you so much. I had also come with a little bit of preparation. I thought it'd be a good
Not
idea.
little bit. It was, appropriate and accurate. More than that. So I was trying to show this babushka doll. So this babushka doll, it is from Russia. I have brought it from Russia long back when it was Russia. And you can see, I'm talking about a family, the grandparents, and then the mother and father, and then the children. All of you can see that grandparents, mother and father, and children. So they are shown separately. But at the time of sorrow, at the time of happiness, we can put them together. See, we can put them together, okay, in this doll. And that means that in a family, we have to be together, even if we are separate individuals, so that we can explain to the children and to everyone that the family is the entity, it is a single entity, but it is made up of many people. So thank you. I wanted to give this message to all of
Thank you.
you. Thank
That's
you.
very fantastic message, ma'am. Thank you.
So, Rashmi ma'am, this is in fact an example of emotional intelligence. You are
Okay.
trying to inculcate, imbibe emotional intelligence in them. Similarly, when children, kids are so small, let me say 3 years or 4 years of age, so they are very possessive. They don't want to share the things with them, right? So similarly, these toys can be used. They can be asked to make some gift through these toys for their parents, like Sapna ma'am showed a few things over here. And that activity can be done in the school. They can prepare it for their father, mother, brother, and sister and gift it to them. So now here, emotional intelligence, it gets created in them.
That
They
is very
understand
important.
how to share. Yeah, they understand how to share. So I think that as Rashmi ma'am said that Sapna ma'am hasn't discussed a little bit of things, but more than a whole lot of things, right?
Yes.
So that is excellent, and I think that the audience out here would have got benefited. Even I have got benefited out of it. एंड जो होता है कि स्कूल में टीचर्स सोचते हैं कि बाइंग टॉयज फॉर द चिल्ड्रन it's wastage of money, and after some days it's going to be distorted and all that. I think that that is a very good investment, to the kids, to equip them with the knowledge and all that stuff that we discussed here, and that is going to help them in implementing NEP and NCF in their classrooms. So I think that these are the small things. Many might be thinking like that, but it's a very very big thing to happen. See, I will just take 1 minute. Uh, the schools, which are at metro level or semi-urban or even semi-urban, yeah, uh, they are understanding this concept. But the schools who are semi-rural or rural, they are not able to understand this. So, as an organization like DKIF or IAFQE, we need to reach out to these corners of our country and try to make them aware. So here, the responsibility is much bigger, right? Educating these teachers, these school owners, and all. So NEP and NCF, it's uh, really great to happen in India. But the thing is that the implementation part is very important, and government cannot do it alone. It is we people as an educator who can come together and do it. Together we can and we will. So thank you so much. Having said all these things, I don't have much knowledge about these big things, although these are play based theories and all. But whatever I could understand and whatever I could express myself and giving that opportunity, thank you so much, Dr. Sapna, Dr. Rashmi, and Kamal Goda, sir. Thank you so much. You are really Kamal. There is no doubt about it. Kamal, sir, is a
Yes, Kamal.
gem of person. He's a gem of person.
The
Yes.
gem
He has
of
never
person.
said no to whenever, whatever I suggest. He says, okay, Sudhakar ji. Okay, it's fine. So, thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Okay. And I actually, now I thought that when we think about the Rashma, when she presented about the science exploration, she brought plants. She show practically everything. Now, when we talk about the toys, she brought very beautiful toys to explain everything, family, mothers, grandmothers, children, and everything she explained. And I think that's she's the very mature principal and educates. Then I think that's she shows her talents still now. Then it
Ah,
is a good example to our young teachers in Sri Lanka and in everywhere because like that the toys make a lot of feelings about the children because when we consider about the globally, there's a big issue not only the Sri Lanka or India, in everywhere, in every country, children are going to addict to the mobile phone or the digital devices. If we can give a very nice toys to them to play, to enjoy, we can develop the creativity, we can develop the communication skills, everything we can develop with the toys. The toys is a good
yes,
solution for our global issue, which is the issue children are more addict to the mobile phone. And finally, I want to ask one question. When we
sir.
consider about special needs children, when we consider about the special needs children,
Sir.
is there any special category of the toys or how you
Okay.
open that?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the question, sir. So, when we talk about the children, those who are with the special needs, the only thing which we have to remember is that I mean, because these children, they'll not be able to, I had mentioned that they'll not be able to identify something which gives them a shock or something which is very pointed. So, the children with learning difficulty are not segregated because by the time it is actually identified, it could be 7 years of age or 12 years of age. So we give the similar toys or we give the similar tools for them to study. The only thing is, in case a child is having a delayed milestone, like the children they speak a little late, or children those who walk a little late, or children those who, so in case there is a delayed milestone, in case there is I mean a therapy which is required, in case there is a listening therapy, in case they are, if of course with blind and deaf and dumb children they'll be different, but otherwise in case there are just learning delays, so they are giving a similar standard toy. There's no differentiation in that.
Thanks, ma'am. Then anyone want to ask anything or give any comments? You can unmute yourself and you can speak. And you can continue, Rashmi. Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of the Sri Lanka, we want to thanks to President Mr. Sudhakar Singh of the DKIF and Mr. Our Rashmi ma'am. You do a very big job. You give the good opportunity to the young teachers, young educators to get the knowledge, the expertise. This is a golden opportunity to the teachers. Yeah, thanks, ma'am. On behalf of the Sri Lanka, you can continue. You can wind up the session. Thanks, ma'am. Rashmi ma'am, you can wind up the session. You can switch on your camera. Yeah, I think some technical issue to the Rashmi ma'am. Thanks a lot for all, especially to the speaker, ma'am, Sapna ma'am, and all officers of the DKIF and our Rashmi ma'am. And we hope to meet you tomorrow or day after tomorrow with another very valuable session. Thanks all.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.